Hi, this is Sarah, the data manager with CPCQC. I'm going to show you how to edit data records within REDCap. This is a question we get a lot from hospitals. Can I edit or change data that I've already entered? I realize that I didn't fill in a field that I should have, or I put the wrong number in there, or I fat fingered it, and I need to go back and edit my record. And you can definitely do that. I will note you cannot delete records. So if you have a record in there that was entered twice, you accidentally put in a clinical care checklist twice for the same patient, then please get in touch with me and I will work with you to determine which record needs deleted and I will take care of that. You can reach me at data@cpcqc.org. But you are welcome to go back and edit records at any time. So let's say that we have in Turning the Tide, our hospital level data. We need to go back and amend something in our data entry. So I like going to the record status dashboard. That is going to show you all records that your hospital has ever submitted. Just to keep things anonymous, we're not going to look into any of these particular hospitals. And actually, there's none yet assigned for test, but these two are my test records and are not associated with a hospital. So you can click on any of the records that have been submitted in the past, either the record ID number or the little bubble next to it. The red incomplete legend here indicates that the form was self-reported as being incomplete. So that might be a good sign that more data needs to be added. It needs to be looked at again. So that's a helpful way to kind of keep track of things on your end. I have never really seen anyone use this unverified tag, but you could certainly use that if you have a process in place where you want to double check a record or have someone else on your team look at a record before you finalize it and say it's complete. So let's say that we need to go back to record 1 here that we've already submitted. And we can come back to this at any time. It could be months or even years away, but typically I would say people want to come back to a record that's maybe 2 months old or 3 months old and make some changes. And this one is very incomplete, but you can imagine it's full of data. And you can change any of the entries that are in here at any time. You can come back and update and change the numbers. And then all you really have to do is save and exit the form, and it's going to overwrite the data that you had entered in the past and basically update the form. This will not necessarily be reflected right away in the data dashboards. You'll have to wait until we go through our kind of data cleaning and processing that occurs around the end of each month. And when that happens, it will just pull in the updated data and display it in your dashboard. So let's say we've entered all this information, we've corrected an error somewhere in here. We can potentially now say it's complete if we want to, and save and exit the form. We are going to have a bunch of warnings because, well, one, the state is outside the suggested range. It wants me to put today, but I'm going to ignore that. It wants us to fill in values for all the fields that expect a value. It doesn't force you to, so you can ignore and leave record, or you can click OK and just come back and plug in the rest of the numbers. That's it. That's how you can edit a record in REDCap at any time if you need to come back or you notice a mistake. I hope this was helpful.